Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to the Red Shirt Report, brought to you by StackUp.org, where veterans are our mission and gaming is our passion. I am one of your distinguished hosts, Chris Clue-Miller.
And I'm Chris, the Game Case, a.k.a. Cuddles Case. We're going to dive right into it this week. I want to talk a little bit about some of the things that we have going on with our local stacks. Well, it should be no surprise to those that follow Stack Up. Our Queen stack did something this weekend. One of our most active and one of our most beloved stacks was out at Fort Hamilton Comic-Con, doing all sorts of things, spreading the good word of Stack Up, doing some incredible work up there. So huge shout out to the Queen stack. They're doing wonderful, wonderful work. Now this wasn't in the show notes, but I would like to mention one of our other stacks, our Austin, Texas stack, is going to be out stacking up this weekend at VerseCon in Austin, Texas, and I'm gonna be there. So make sure if you're in the Austin, Texas area, stop by VerseCon. It's Friday and Saturday at the Trinity Hall right there in downtown Austin, Texas. We'd love to see you. We're going to have a booth. We're going to be doing a panel. We're going to be spreading the red shirt love. But Clue, what else happened in the meeting tonight?
So, for those of you who don't know, Destiny 2 launched yesterday for PC in North America and launches today in European servers. And our Red Shirt Raiders are all over that. So we would like to invite you, all of you out there, PC and I think PS4 will all be working together to play Destiny 2. So in the chat, you will see a Discord link. Hit that link and go join up with our Red Shirt Raiders to play some Destiny 2. And hopefully we will see you there.
Guys, it is 17 days to Call to Arms. Actually, more accurately, 16 days, 14 hours, 3 minutes and 24 seconds as of right now. Kind of soon. So if anybody is wanting to sign up for that Call to Arms, if you know somebody, a streamer that is a veteran, a streamer that supports veterans, a streamer that is just genuinely a good person that you hang out with in their channel, you sub to them, you mod for them, whatever it is, get them in touch with me. I want to talk to you. I need you to stack up for Call to Arms. See that little like Uncle Sam thing I did there? It was really awesome.
That was good.
So there is 2 links that I would like to draw your attention to. I'm going to place both of those in chat. The first of them is our Call to Arms Get Ready for Veterans Day 2017 link. This has all the information that you need. This has all of the links, all of the fun stuff that will get you ready, prepared, and totally excited about raising money for Stack Up this November 11th weekend. After you have gone through that, this link is included on that page, but I want to point it out because it is extremely important. This is the actual sign-up sheet. It's a bit.ly link. You want to make sure after you've gone through the steps, after you've gotten your overlay ready, after you've promoted this to your community, after you've done your Tiltify. I know that sounds like a lot of steps, but it's all really easy, guys. After you've done all that, there's one more form for you to fill out. All I need is your information. That's so that we can accurately track everything that's going on. We can get you the rewards that we're going to be offering. We can get you all the social media support that we love to give you. And guys, this is how we stack up for Call to Arms. So once more, I'm going to implore all of you out there in internet land, join us. One last thing that's just popped in my head. I always forget to say this, but we focus very hard on streamers. We focus very hard on, hey, if you stream, come join us. Guess what? You don't have to stream. You don't have to stream specifically on Twitch. You can stream it on Mixer, Hitbox, Snapchat, Periscope, Facebook. I don't care. You can have a car wash. You can go around your grandmother's nursing home and collect money. You can talk to your employer see if they're doing anything for the holidays. This doesn't have to be specifically November 11th, and it doesn't have to be specifically on Twitch. So come up with some creative ideas, guys. I would love to hear how you're going to stack up and help veterans out. With that, Clue, I think you got something to talk about. I know I talked about being at VerseCon this weekend, but I feel like we were just together somewhere else.
We were indeed. In fact, we were at TwitchCon this weekend. It was a lot of fun, and it was very productive, and we had some really good guys with us. Our 2 air assaults went with us. Stay tuned for some video that will come out of that of the TwitchCon event. And we'll kind of demonstrate a little bit about what we do. If you haven't seen any of our YouTube videos thus far with regards to the stack up mission, some of our air assaults, the supply crate mission, and our stacks mission, then do by all means go to our YouTube channel, stackup.org. I believe it's all one word is the channel name. And there's all kinds of really good video up there that demonstrates what it is that we do for the vets. One of the things is our air assault program, which we brought 2 of our guys to TwitchCon, and they had a great time. And they were actually part of Trick2G's community. Now, those of you who don't know Trick2G, he's a really big streamer. Does a lot of, what does he do? Help me out here, Cuddles. What does he usually stream? Legends?
Trick2G is he is one of the top League of Legends streamers. This guy, so I want to kind of explain for those that may not watch League of Legends or may not be horribly involved in Twitch and are just watching this because you enjoy Stack Up. League of Legends is one of the most, I don't think I'm overstretching by saying overpopulated games on Twitch. It consistently sits in the top 5 games. It regularly has viewership of over 1 million. So to say that you're a top streamer in League of Legends, there's plenty of people that stream League of Legends, mind you. But to be in that top tier is something really special. And Trick's talent, his kindness, his caring, and his support of Stack Up are something that have amazed me since the first time that I met him, which was long after he'd already been involved with Stack Up, which was since day 1, I believe.
It's true. And the great thing about it is he was so gracious. Our air assaults went into, they have the little lines there that you can go and talk to your favorite Twitch streamers. And Trick2G had a signing there and was very gracious, got them some signatures. They were able to chat it up a little bit. Now, obviously, when they're sitting in a line, it's there's a little bit of a time crunch there, right? Because you've got a lot of folks that want to also come and see you. Well, Trick took time out of his day to go out and have lunch, sit down, have lunch one-on-one or two-on-one, I guess, in this case, with our air assault guys. So not only did they go and kind of do the traditional mechanism of going through and talking to Trick and their celebrity fan, their celebrity, heroes, their Twitch streamers, but the guy, found it in his, in his heart and his time to dedicate a larger chunk of his, put more effort to seeing these guys. And it was no small measure of Trick2G's donation and his efforts with regards to the charity streams that helped pay for those guys. So not only did they get to meet him and he have an opportunity to sit down and chat it up with these guys, but he also helped pay for them to come out. How awesome is that? So just a stand-up guy, just a talk about taking care of your community. This guy is, he puts his money and his time where his mouth is. So big props to Trick2G on that account. But that wasn't the only thing that was cool at TwitchCon. That was a big one. Don't get me wrong. But speaking of other Twitchers, we had Sheriff Eli come sit at the Stack Up booth and basically just meet and greet a lot of his fans. Now, Sheriff Eli does a lot of GTA 5 online role playing. So he's a sheriff. I think he's a Blaine County sheriff. and does a lot of RP and has a pretty significant following, a lot of fans. And this guy was just, I mean, he was a giant. He was a big guy, but what a big heart also. He was at the Stack Up booth for over an hour, I think, just kind of chatting with people, being very available, making himself accessible. Just wow, what a great dude. And another great thing was we had what was called the Charity Decathlon. They had a bunch of streamers. They get together with a bunch of different charities, all worthy organizations and great causes. Stack Up, of course, being one of those charities. So they had basically a very large, I don't want to call it a competition, but I guess it was kind of a competition to see who could raise the most money. And that money would be distributed among all of the charities. So everybody wins. The winner, of course, gets a little bit more, whatever that happens to be. We don't know yet. Gets a little bit more of that money, but everybody wins. And the streamers get to talk with and kind of do a show. They had lots of creative streamers, and singers and things like that. Well, StackUp.org actually won the Charity Decathlon. The Charity Decathlon as a whole raised about $112,000, over $100,000 in charities donations during that TwitchCon, during that Charity Decathlon. So just an absolutely phenomenal effort by everybody who donated, by all of the streamers who donated their time and their efforts, who mobilized their communities to get people to donate. It was awesome. Just a lot of great stuff. Now, Cuddles, on your side of the fence, now, Cuddles, as you all may or may not know, is a prolific streamer himself, and with, no small amount of street cred. So I'm sure he has, maybe you've got a couple other little things you'd like to add in terms of maybe some highlights that you have that I'm not aware of. I mean, I was busy too.
Well, I have to, I would be remiss if I did not echo the huge shout out and the thanks to everyone that joined us for the Tiltify Charity Decathlon. Commander Human, DJ Truthsayer, I'm sick with it, Lady Adarissa, Working Chef. I'm forgetting some here, and I apologize. I didn't do this in our meeting tonight because I knew I'd forget someone, and now I'm doing it.
You're a terrible person.
But huge and very special shout out to Resurrection Fern, who did a 30-minute set. She's a musician. She did a 30-minute set, just her and acoustic guitar, singing into the microphone, and it had me on the verge of, and it's sometimes in tears. It was wonderful, incredible, and with a little over $5,000 in donations during her 30-minute set, she actually raised the most money during that particular event, and helped, along with everyone else, push us to victory. So thank you to everyone that was involved in that, really and truly. Clue mentioned it earlier about these guys taking time out of their schedules, and I wanted to say one thing to kind of drive that home. If you've ever been to a convention that you've had to go to for work, and you've had meetings and you've had things scheduled, and it's your one opportunity to see everyone in your industry, that'll give you a little bit of glimpse as to what, especially these larger streamers, this isn't like a fun, let's go do this, let's go do that. This is business. This is the time for them to sit down with sponsors, both their sponsors, potential ones, talk with game developers, get those deals rolling, because the next con isn't until January. So right now really feeds their business throughout the rest of 2017 and helps build momentum into 2018. So when we say that these folks took time out, whether it was for the Tiltified Charity Decathlon, whether it was Sheriff Eli standing at the booth, or whether it was Trick 2G taking time, he could have gone and had a lunch with somebody that would have moved his business forward, with a new sponsor, with a new game dev, with Twitch themselves. But he chose not to do that. He chose to take, and all of them chose to take these very small slivers of time that we had and spend it on Stack Up. And I think that was my biggest takeaway, was how many people were totally willing to give of their time. of course, outside of that, for me, just getting to see all the people that love on us and support us, getting to give out hugs, getting to meet new people. TwitchCon really and truly was, it's just a wonderful and incredible event. We have 17 days now to call to arms coming out of there. 2 more cons on my schedule and a lot of work going into call to arms. But TwitchCon was a wonderful place to recharge batteries, to feel the love, to meet new folks, and really just was an incredibly well put on event. So thank you to Twitch, and thank you to everybody that supported us.
Yes.
But I think while I could blather on about how much I love TwitchCon and how much I love Twitch people, we have something else to talk about, and something that's going to take us down a little bit sadder path. That, my friends, is that the Kinect with Xbox One is no longer with us. They are getting rid of, discontinuing, however you want to put it. The Kinect is no more. The Xbox One started out at $500, which was $100 more than PS4. And the big difference for that was the inclusion of this revolutionary, awesome sensor-capable camera. Now, the sales for the Kinect kind of pop fizzled, and it's to the point now where Microsoft was like, "Yeah, we're not doing this." I know the Kinect was used for a time as you could use it as a microphone. You could have like the speakers on your TV play your voice chat, and then you could chat into the Kinect. But if anybody's ever chatted into a webcam mic from halfway across the room, you get a little bit of sense of what. I don't want to dog what Microsoft did, but you get the quality on it wasn't there. And then of course the other aspect of the Kinect, the ability to get up and play games like Just Dance and things like that. First of all, I'll say we have one of our streamers that is a 2-time U.S. Just Dance champion. That's probably going to be pretty sad about this. Much more sad than I'm going to be. But there were things like Just Dance. There was the Xbox Healthy app package that you could work out and do things. Quite frankly, when I saw stuff like this, when I saw things like the Kinect and the Wii, I kind of shook my head. As an old school gamer, if I want to get up and go do something, I'm going to turn my computer off and walk outside my door. I don't necessarily want to relax with games that make me sweat. As an overweight neck-bearded man, I sweat enough playing PUBG. I don't need to get up and try to dance. But I mean, we saw this trend of all of these active games that were going to get people up off their couch. And I think now with the direction that we saw Nintendo go in with the Switch, and kind of the Wii motion stuff all kind of being pushed slightly to the side, and the Switch just feels like a really big Game Boy now, right? With some use of motion controls, of course. But they went away from that whole get up off the couch thing. Now we see the Kinect being discontinued. I gotta ask, Clue, what do you think? Am I right in that gamers, we're comfy in our chairs? Like, we don't want to be up off the couch? I mean, the Kinect was neat. It was kind of a non-VR VR. But I don't know why. I don't know why video game companies continue. It's kind of like the thought of your video game console as an entertainment center. Sure. Like, no, it's not. We have other devices for that.
Yeah, I guess, multi-purposing something is not necessarily a bad idea. And I think the Kinect really had some good potential, because I remember seeing a lot of the demos when it first came out where you would do like, I can't remember the name of the game, but they would like throw fruit at you, or something would like be throwing stuff at you, and you could use your hands to just kind of block or attack or punch and stuff like that. So it had like some of that motion control stuff, which I thought was really kind of cool. And they were using it for some other applications but yeah, the exercise thing, and like, I want to say they were using it for like tennis, but maybe that was the Wii, right? That was like the wand with thingamajig. But anyways, it doesn't surprise me though, because generally speaking, I think peripheral devices tend to not have the lifespan that the game consoles do. The first thing that comes to my mind is Rob the Robot from Nintendo. That was an interesting idea, but it didn't really have a lot of application. Kinect and things like that, like optical sensors and whatnot, are a logical and natural progression on those sorts of peripherals, I think. But generally speaking, I don't disagree with what you're saying in that you buy the game system so that you can play the game. Now, some people would like to sit or, jog or whatever, or, whatever the Kinect you were doing with the Kinect. But I think by and large, you're right. I don't really, if I'm sweating and I'm playing a game, I mean, there's a lot of other ways that I can go and do that without having to buy a Kinect at, whatever the MSRP was. I can go outside. I can friggin' dig holes. I mean, there's a lot of other ways that you can get some exercise, not the least of which is getting up and doing something outside, right? I mean, there's a certain amount of disconnect you have to do just as a baseline as a gamer, or anything that you're sedentary, right? I mean, hell, I work at, I'm a programmer by trade, and I sit all freaking day long, and I have to get up and move, otherwise my legs drop off. But I think that it's kind of a shame to see it go, for those people who enjoyed it, but it's not surprising. Now that being said, and you may see some of this later on in some of the footage that I bring, that we cut for the Air Assault stuff. There was an arcade, and I digress a little bit, but I'll bring it back around, I promise. There was like an old arcade area at TwitchCon, like Donkey Kong, and they had an air hockey table. And if I wasn't carrying a camera around, I would have been like all over that air hockey table, and pinball. And they had Dance Revolution, and these dudes were wrecking that machine. And they were sweating and just giving it their all. And so, so there is a section of the gaming community that really enjoys the physical aspect of it. I mean, Guitar Hero, let's look at Guitar Hero, right? I mean, you could play Guitar Hero with a controller, but it's just cooler, I think, to sit with a guitar, right? And you kind of play. It's a little bit more immersive. I think there's something to be said for that. And they had DDR and stuff like that on the little pads. Like, remember the little plastic pads you could roll out and had little sensors in it.
Now I want to play Guitar Hero with a controller. Like, you just blew my mind.
Yeah.
I never even correlated the colors with the buttons on the. I know what I'm doing tonight.
Right. So you don't actually have to have the control. You don't have to have the instrument. You can use the controller. Now, I don't know if that's an implementation task that they used to make it widely compatible. So you don't have to have an instrument to play it. The Kinect, on the other hand, is kind of, it kind of has a specific purpose. So you're not going to use a controller to do Kinect stuff.
So your overall kind of supposition on the thing is like the Duck Hunt controller never, like, it didn't last. The Power Glove wasn't a thing.
Right.
I felt much more that the Kinect was part of the Xbox in that it was initially marketed with it. I don't believe at launch, I don't believe you could get an Xbox without a Kinect. I could be wrong. But I know that I know that it was like a very important peripheral. You could use it for voice commands. You say Xbox turn on. Nope. I was seeing my Xbox and Kinect are sitting right next to me.
Oh, you were checking to see if it turned on just now?
Yeah, I don't know if it's all plugged up right. But no, it's one of those things that I feel like game makers are now realizing we don't want to stand up. I think that's really, and I don't want.
If they had a peripheral that would serve me a drink, dude. Do you know how much money they would make? Or to facilitate me sitting on my ass? What's that? Oh yeah, totally.
See, this is what you need, game makers. Take less time trying to get us up off of our asses and figure out how to make it more convenient for us to stay sitting on our ass.
Now, having the voice commands is a good start. It's a good start. You know,
yeah, no,
but...
and I mean, it's one of those things, and I don't, please understand as I say this, I don't mean to paint the stereotypical picture of the extremely out of shape, doesn't want to get off the couch gamer. I simply want, I think that gamers don't want their games to be their exercise.
At least they're
gamers that exercise physically, that physically go and work out. Those guys want to do that in a gym. And I'm sure the Wii and I'm sure the Kinect was a great start, and I'm sure there's stories all over the internet of it helping people lose weight and helping people get more active. But quite frankly, I think if the Kinect wasn't there and the Wii wasn't there, those people would have still found that drive and would have gone and done something. If you want to do something, you will get the key factor in people doing things is their willingness to do that thing.
That's like
you can point to tools and shit like that, but it's always the fact that they actually want to do that thing.
Right. And it's like trying to say that just buy Subway and you'll lose weight. I mean, whatever. I don't know that that's a thing, but you know, I'll tell you one thing. There's one other thing, and I hate to say that, and I'll hasten to add that this isn't a stereotypical, but I'm sure for me personally, and I'm sure maybe to some degree you have experienced this as well, Cuddles, is when you're playing a game, have you ever gotten to a point where it's frustrated you so bad, or that you're so competitive when you're playing with other friends that you've tossed a controller or headbutted the wall or done something physical because you were just, you know, so into this game that you just couldn't, you know, help yourself. Well, and I'll give you a chance to tell us about your experiences, and I'll tell you about mine too, which are interesting. But there is a reason that I'm bringing this up. Recently, in the college basketball, there was a young man named Joel Berry II, who was playing a game. The game was unspecified. We don't know what game he was playing, but he was playing a game with his teammate, Theo Pinson, and one other manager. And what they were doing, so they were playing this game, and Joel lost. And Joel, being the competitive young man that he is, decided he wanted to throw a punch at the wall or at the door and broke his hand. So, yeah, so he broke his hand while punching the wall after getting frustrated, as many of us often do, and some of us do, after losing the particular video game. Now, I've done this before. Usually it involves throwing the thing. Like I've thrown my controller before. I've never punched anything that I can remember. I might have. I've seen it though. So I've seen this happen. So, you know, you get involved. You're really competitive. You're playing a game, and you know something happens. And maybe it's a really close game and you're just trying to hang on and it's neck and neck. And the next thing you know, the guy next to you or the girl or whoever that you're playing with wins and they throw their hands up. Yeah. And then the next thing you know, your fist is in the wall and you can't feel your fingers and you're wondering, oh no, mom's going to be so pissed at me because now there's a hole in the drywall. How quick, hang the picture up over it, right? Okay, mom, nothing happened here. You know, so that's happened, right? I mean, what about you, Cuddle? So I'm sure. So I'm sure you have a story or something like that.
I was playing Stardew Valley. It went from daytime to night, and I just saw red. I woke up the next day in a ditch 5 miles from my
You had me there. I was like, ooh, this is gonna be a good one.
No, so I grew up gaming since Atari and Nintendo. I think the first time I can remember getting really mad, which kudos to Nintendo Entertainment for making what had to be the most indestructible electronic device I have ever seen. Because I can attest to the fact that I still have my original controller. In fact, if I looked at the show notes before the show, I would have had it ready, because it has stickers from like issue 2 from Nintendo Power on it.
Oh, nice.
And I would twist that thing. I would throw it. I would slam it on the ground and swing it around by its cord. And now, however, I will say Microsoft, these things do not take, this is an Xbox One controller. They don't take kindly to being thrown across the room.
No.
At all. However, I grew up at a time that was how you took your rage out. You screamed and you yelled and you threw things. And I think I'm gonna rabbit here for just a minute. I think it's interesting as we've seen gaming communities get more and more toxic online. It's as we've walked away from gaming on the couch with each other. And I think that 15 years ago, if Clue and I were going to play Call of Duty together, it meant we were sitting on the same couch together.
Right.
If I was going to question his sexuality, bring up his mother's promiscuity, or any of the other myriad of things that tend to happen online, you were sitting right next to the guy and he would punch you, or gal. And I always find this interesting when this discussion of gamer rage comes up. Now it seems so much more pointed to online, and your kids are pounding the keyboard instead of throwing their controller, because you're not throwing your $150 Corsair RGB keyboard across the room, or maybe you are. I don't know. As to an athlete actually punching through a wall and breaking his hand, I just gotta have to chuckle. These guys, if you're not aware of this, professional athletes have a litany, literally pages of their contracts, that are dedicated to things that they are not allowed to do. Among them, water skiing, riding motorcycles. If you're a baseball player, you can't play basketball. If you're a basketball player, you can't play baseball. Obviously, there's exceptions to that for professional players. But for example, your Justin Verlander, who is a pitcher for formerly the Tigers, sad face. He got caught one time playing basketball in the off season and got fined something like $20,000 for taking his shirt off and playing a pickup game outside of his buddy's house. I'm very curious now to see if video gaming gets added to the list of shit that these guys aren't allowed to do, because this is just hilarious. And see, Mr. McStabby here in the chat has said it's a point of pride for him that he's never once thrown a controller. Mr. McStabby, I'll say I have not thrown a controller in my adulthood. I threw controllers when I was a little kid. I mean, I was a kid. These days,
Yeah,
you will see me. You will occasionally. I think the worst I have done is I will, and I only say this because the video evidence is out there on Twitch. I will take my headset off, and set my headset down and walk away, if I need a minute. I think. Oh no, I take that back. So for those watching the VOD, or watching live, I have my mic on a boom, so that means it'll actually move around. Sorry if this is creating a bunch of extemporaneous noise. But I, at one point, lost a particularly heated match of something. Might have been Cuphead. And pushed my mic
that game
forward.
has a tendency to elicit some strong reactions, I understand.
Oh, as the guy that edited something like 4.5 hours of Steve cursing at it, I know you know those feels. I pushed my mic forward harder than I wanted to, because I wanted to stand up. And so I meant to ease my mic slightly away from my mouth, but I was angry, so I pushed it forward and it hit my monitor in front of me, and the monitor actually flickered off and on. And I immediately, I was like, what am I doing? That was not an adult thing to do. I cannot afford to replace that monitor. That was stupid. I will never do that again. And I haven't. I mean, it's kind of like growing up. And for I do not know which specific NBA player was this. Tar Heel. Oh, he's on the Tar Heels. Okay, so this is a college guy.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so still a kid. Because we assign adulthood to a lot of these collegiate players, but let's be honest, these guys are like 17, 18, 19-year-old children. I mean, really, especially when you grow up in that sports world and then you're the star of the basketball team and then you're the star of the college team. You're getting a slightly skewed view of how the world works. And when things don't work out your way, I can see how it happens.
Yeah, and it's not like he's a bad player. I mean, he was a good player. Right, so the team is going to suffer now because he decided to throw a right cross into, a steel door and go crunchy crunch. But I've smashed controllers before. When I was younger, I don't do it now, although I could because I can more readily afford to replace them. But I don't anymore because I'm more kosher and my hands are actually now my livelihood. So I have to avoid very much doing that. But I feel
like there's a lot of things from my youth that I don't like. I can remember riding around like without a helmet on a dirt bike or like skateboarding. Like now I look at a skateboard and I'm like, I'm going to break something and I won't be able to work.
That will kill me.
And I think that just comes from a little bit of maturity. And I think that's all this is Joel Berry, brother, grow up a little bit. Like you got a couple months to learn from this one, man. So guys, I think that is going to wrap up our show for this week. I do want to implore you for 3 things. First of all, Immortal Conquest is this. So I'm going to be honest about Immortal Conquest. I don't know if the boss man watches this or not, but I'm just going to be honest with you guys because we're extremely transparent. When we first heard about this mobile game that we were going to play and we were playing for a prize, I was like, oh God. I don't play mobile games. Like I sometimes real talk for a moment, guys. I sometimes play Hearthstone on the toilet. Like that is the extent of my mobile gaming. I was like, this is stupid. I don't want to do this. And of course, as a staff member for StackUp, it was it's very apparent very quickly this is something that I needed to be involved in because I'm on staff. It's something that the job is doing, so you do it. I am addicted to this game. It's actually super fun, really entertaining, and like a wonderfully good time. Scatch just dropped a couple links. That's going to be for our Immortal Conquest Discord. Get in that Discord, read some of the strategy, guys, because I made some huge mistakes at the beginning of the game that I can't correct now because I was like, it's a mobile game. I don't need strategy guides.
This game is more than a mobile game. I mean, there's a lot to it. It's not just a point and click kind of thing. I mean, there's strategy and there's some mechanics to it. So there's got meat.
If you enjoy something like Civ, or Stellaris, or Tropico, even any of these games that kind of are focused on nation building and power building and in a very strategic fashion. This game has a lot of depth. It's wonderful. It's a lot of fun to play. And if we win at the end of this, we're going to end up with an extra $15,000 in the StackUp coffers at the end of the year. So make sure you get out there, join that Discord, go play this game. Whether you can devote 30 minutes or 30 hours a week, jump in there. Every little bit helps. Also, I will reiterate, I mentioned it at the top of the show. It's not in the show notes. Sketch is going to be mad. It's okay. This weekend, if you're in Austin, Texas, VerseCon, come out, show some StackUp pride, wear that red shirt, and come hang out with everybody that's doing the Star Citizen thing. They're going to be simulcasting Star Citizen's event from Germany. It's going to be a whole heck of a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it as a huge Star Citizen fan. And these guys, I will say, I should have mentioned this in their meeting. These guys have bent over backwards for us. We're the only charity that is there. They offered for us to do a panel. They've offered all sorts of things. They love us. And you know what? We, in return, love them. So thank you so much to VerseCon, the attendees, but especially the planners that have shown us so much love. I really, really appreciate you guys. Last thing, guys, make sure you go and get in to the Red Shirt Raiders Discord. Right now, they're playing Hello Kitty's Adventure and SpongeBob's Battle for Bikini Bottom.
It's an awesome game. Very involved.
Not really. I believe they're playing PUBG and Destiny too. That probably sounds a little bit better to most of you. Although if anybody wants to get down on Hello Kitty's Adventure, I've been wanting to try.
I'll meet you in there, Cuddles, after the report.
All right, sweet. One of the games. Somebody talked earlier to me about like most embarrassing achievements, and I will say I have an achievement on Xbox 360 for Miley Cyrus, the movie game, for obtaining over 100 different outfit combinations. Yeah, I was an achievement whore back in the day. It was a thing. But guys, that is going to wrap it up for tonight. Clue, say bye.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.
Bye.